Hello and welcome to the Space Between Ideas. I'm Blaine Gates, and today we are going to talk about running a race and potato farmers. Let's start with the potato farmer. Imagine that we're in the 1800s and we have a potato farmer, and this potato farmer has 2 or 3 little rugrats, maybe 5 or 6 little rugrats, and each year they're able to produce 1,000 potatoes. That doesn't seem like a very realistic number, but let's just go with it. So you have 5 or 6 people, they're producing 1,000 potatoes per year. Basically, they have 5 or 6 laborers, they have a horse, they have a plow, and then they sell those potatoes for enough money to survive. Suddenly, you have a second farmer who is in a time machine and comes back to the year 1800 from the future. And this person has a robot, which we could say it's basically farm equipment, modern farm equipment. And the modern farm equipment has the ability to produce 10,000 potatoes in a year. I don't know how they would have access to the amount of energy that they would need, but if we look at modern civilization, then it's clear that the robots have beaten out the horses and plows, and the robots are definitely doing the majority of the farming. If you want to farm at scale, you need to have a robot. And this principle also goes into factories. When you went to China in the 1990s, maybe the 2000s, even to the 2010s, you had factories that were full of laborers. And then nowadays, you can see that more and more people are becoming replaced by robots, which means that the people that were doing the factory labor, they have to be reallocated to some other job. And some of these jobs do not pay as well. Some of these jobs are in the service industry. And suddenly there's a change in the way that the economy looks because robots are replacing highly skilled workers. This metaphor continues with our life right now. I was watching a video. Sometimes I watch Matt Wolf. He has a channel about AI tools and about changes in AI. He recently started a new podcast called The Next Wave. And in this podcast, he invites a guest on named Greg Eisenberg. And the video is called SEO 2.0, How to Trick Google and Rank IA Content. The interesting thing about this video is that this gentleman also comes up with the same argument regarding the white collar workers. He said, okay, so if you have a big corporation and before you had 10,000 workers and now you can produce the same amount of output or maybe even more output, but you only need 1,000 workers, then your profits are going to increase. You can choose to reduce the price of your product and therefore capture a larger market share, or you just have reduced costs, which means you have more profit and your shareholders are happier. It seems to him that companies are going to be interested in fewer workers and taking advantage of the automatization that comes through the new robot generation. It's the same thing that happened in the farm, the same thing that happened in the factory, and now it's happening to white-collar workers. And his argument is that the only people who are going to be able to survive are those who keep up with the changes in AI technology and incorporate the use of AI tools in their everyday work. He goes on to say that the main issue here is motivation. You have to be able to stay motivated. So let's talk about motivation. The thing is that for you to stay on top, there's basically 2 factors. One is your IQ and one is your ability to focus on learning these new things, learning and incorporating them into your daily tasks. Let's say that IQ is the stride length. Stride length, it is the distance between when you pick up your foot and then you put it down again. That's the stride length. When you're running, this is 1 stride, 2 strides, 3 strides. So you have your stride length and then you have your stride pace. Stride pace is how long does it take to pick up your foot and put it down again. That would be the IQ, because if you have extremely high IQ, it means that you pick up a book, you understand it quickly, you read it in 3 or 4 hours or 5 or 6 hours, and then you're done. You understand it. And if you have a lower IQ, it means you pick up a book and it takes much, much longer to understand. That is the stride length. The stride pace is like, okay, so 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, 4 books, 5 books, 6 books, 1 tool, 2 tools, 3 tools, 4 tools. How much can you input into your brain? How many of these tools are you going to be able to understand? How much knowledge are you going to be able to gain? So if you look at like this, the Bill Gates book list, you can see that he is constantly inputting input into his brain. How long does it take him to read a book? And then how many books is he reading? Bill Gates is moving very quickly. He has a high IQ and he's constantly putting new content into his brain. And so Greg Eisenberg, he has the same argument. He's saying, hey, listen, if you're really, really motivated, you need to stay on top of this game because it's the people who understand how to use AI that are going to maintain their competitive strength in the workforce. The people who don't know how to use a computer, the people who don't know how to use email, the people who don't know, like, right? Every time we turned around when technology changes, the people who are able to adopt a new technology are able to maintain their work and carry on. In the second interview, I was listening to the Jordan Peterson, Elon Musk interview, and they were talking about some people have this argument of depopulation. They're saying, hey, listen, once we have AI that are going to be able to take all these jobs from us, it seems that as people become richer, then they're having fewer kids. And then now that our population is kind of reduced, and then more robots are doing work, and then more AI is doing work. And then at some point, what's the issue? Why can't we just have fewer, like have a lower population? Elon Musk is like, no, we need bigger population. We need 5 times more people. 5 times more people? Why? See, and then this is the argument. This is the thing that people like, they start to debate about is, do we need a bigger population or lower population and more carbon or less carbon? And we have all these political issues that everyone is arguing about. We got people on the street, we got rich, we got the divide between the rich and the poor. Elon Musk is saying, no, we need 5 times more people. Why? It all depends on your position. If you're in the position of one of the most technologically advanced companies in the world with a gigantic vision and access to tools and resources, what's stopping him? What's slowing him down? What's the only thing that he needs? He needs brain power. He needs more brains. He said, I want a bigger population. We need more brain power trying to solve these problems. Which means what? Because how many geniuses do you get from 100 births? How many geniuses do you get from 10,000 births? How many geniuses? See, the issue, it's not fully fleshed out because the thing is like, you're not going to get a genius in every single birth. He wants more geniuses, which means he needs more population. But the thing is that not everyone who's born is a genius. If you're not a genius, or even if you are a genius, I think that we have to go back to the first problem, which is stay motivated and do everything that you can to increase your ability to use these tools. Because if you stop improving, if you don't understand how to move to the next wave, then suddenly the competitor's potatoes are cheaper than your potatoes. And what are you going to farm once people stop buying your potatoes?